Hey everybody, this is Perch. I'm gonna try this thought into this video, but I may not get there, may not work quite properly, but I have to share this anyway. But I've been observing, I'd say over the last really 4 years. So I travel a lot, decent amount. When I do consulting, I have to move around. For a long time, I had comic shops that were in other states, so I had to go down and or was invested in them, so I would go travel to see them. Anyway, I get on the road a lot. I think I've mentioned this before. I'm a million mile flyer on Star Alliance and United, and pretty high up with a couple of the others. So it's a lot of time on the road. And one of the things that's made my life easier, so I give this as advice, but I am tying this into comics, I promise. One thing that has made my life easier is understand when you live in a world of compliance versus a world of being your true self, being authentic, being where your input is needed. If you're consulting on a project, then they're hiring you to bring your thoughts, your ideas, your uniqueness, your individuality, all that kind of stuff to a project. They want your ideas. Your ideas are going to make whatever it happens to be better. That's part of the game. As I mentioned, I fly a lot, and when you're in the airport, there's several steps there where compliance is the right answer. I've watched so many people screw this up, and it's the very definition of play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And it's people who go through the metal detector. And I used to travel with people, and sometimes I'd take people on. I'd mentor people, and so you get people who are kind of traveling for the first time, and the security crew are not usually pleasant. They're usually complete a-holes, and there's nothing better than you would love to just mouth off to these people. And sometimes they do this shit on purpose. I mean, look, their job sucks. They get to stand in one location next to a bunch of X-ray machines and watch people take off their shoes and belts all day. That is nobody's chosen career path. But when you're in that line and they tell you something stupid like, "Hey, do you have a belt on?" You're like, "Clearly, you don't have a belt on." It is not the time to break into your tight 30 stand-up routine. It is time to be like, "Nope." Or if you really want to put some flavor on it, "Nope, sir." And then you move along. You move the fuck along. And what's amazing to me is how many people screw that up. It's like victory is within your path. You are in a dumb place. Now that can be police pulled you over for a ticket. It could be you're getting your passport renewed. It can be you're in the airport. It could be you're on the plane and it's about to go up and everybody's kind of edgy because you're in the middle of COVID. Nobody's quite sure what to do, and you decide that sitting on that plane for this very important business trip that you're taking from, I don't know, Seattle to New York, that now is the time for you to stand up and go into your First Amendment rights on the plane. That is a dumb idea. That is the play stupid games, win stupid prizes, or fuck around and find out. That I've watched people on planes get salty with flight attendant. I've watched the flight attendant get salty back and be like, "Sir, we're going to throw you off this plane." And then the person like stands up like, "Try it, bro." It's like, "Cool, okay, all right, your ass is going out. You're not going to that important business meeting." I don't know. When I came down here to Texas, started flying out of here, I will say the percentage of people fucking around and find out increased dramatically. I don't know if just Seattle people are just more compliant in general. I have no idea. And again, there's times when you shouldn't be compliant, but you know, I was just getting my passport renewed, and the person's like, "It's going to be 2 weeks," and the person's like, "2 weeks online? It said it was going to be 10 days." Okay, we're talking about a difference of net 4 days here. But the woman's like, "Nope, I don't know where you read that," and she was being rude and obnoxious to him. But then the person who's in this federal building with lots of officers around with police start slamming their fist on the table and go, "You can't do this to me. You can't do this," like screaming at the person. It's like, all right, your ass is going to jail. I mean, what are you going to do? No matter how aggravating and frustrating it is, your ass is getting beat. So what does all this have to do with comics? Well, and people, like I said, I'm trying to tie these two things together, but people may not love this take. Um, One of the unfortunate, unfair things is that when you work in comics and you are selling your book, you're trying to get your stuff out. And definitely true when it's your book, your project, your crowdfunded thing, your whatever it is, your or your indie book where you're a lot closer to the sales. You're going to run into a lot of obnoxious a-holes. Absolutely. There's definitely a game on Twitter just to tweak to see if they can get a reaction out of you. That's what they do. People take a run at people all the time. You can choose to engage. You can absolutely choose to get in there and prove your point, slam your fist down and go nuts on them. It is your right to do it. It's your social media account. It's absolutely your right to beat that person's ass. And make no mistake about it, some of those people absolutely deserve it. I mean, I don't. I know it gets portrayed online like every fan's dollar is equal and you must treat every single fan with respect. Yeah, common sense, probably so, because you want that money. But, let's not deny that some people criticize things by saying, I really didn't like this book. It was bad. It wasn't for me. I didn't like the story. And other people decide to criticize the book going, I hope you're raped on the way home. And by the way, you're going like, that's not a real example. I don't know. Guy interviewed sent me like, check this shit out. He's getting DMs like, I hope you fucking die. Like, those are not equal. And nor do I think you have to sit there and go to the person who flames you out, the person who sins over shit like that. I don't think you have to go, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, sir. I hope that over time you change your mind and do not wish death upon me. And, we can only hope for a better day tomorrow, my brother in Christ. You don't have to do that. The smart thing to do is just get the fuck out of that situation as fast as possible. But instead, it feels like a moment where, in this case, I'm using the word compliance very loosely, probably where a lot of people are going to object to this video. It is a moment where compliance can mean just turning off the communication, not getting into it. It can also mean if the person is not obnoxious with their feedback, remember you're on a stage. It's actually not about just you and the person who's bitching at you. It's about you and the person bitching at you and the thousands of other people watching this go down. That is a case where, just like me going through the metal detector, and this person's mouthing off being a jackass, but works in security, it is not the time for me to get up there and run a show. It's not the time for me to go like, look, I demand a duel, sir. Like no. The right thing to do is put your belt on, take it off, get through the metal detector, put it back on, and get the fuck out of there. It's not smart. My wife and I were traveling once, and I bought this belt that is a Toomey, and Toomey's a luggage brand group. It's a nice luggage brand group, and they sell stuff that is built for travelers. So this belt looks like it has a metal buckle. It is not, or it's I don't know. It's not going to set off the metal detector. It's some plastic metal hybrid. I have no idea what the fuck it's made out of, but all I know is it's made for not setting off the alarm. And I get to the flight, and I go through, use my belt. And it goes beep, and the one's like, oh, it's your belt. Go take that. Or no, sorry, I'm getting the story wrong. I didn't even get to the metal detector. There's no beep. I just was approaching it. They're like, you need to take your belt off, sir. I was going to set off the metal detector. I'm like, I just turn around, I take it off, put on the machine, go through, do my thing. My wife's like, why didn't you tell them you bought the Toomey belt? Why didn't you tell them that you bought a belt special for metal detectors? It's like, and my answer was, because who cares? They don't care. Was it inconvenient for me to take off my belt? I didn't want to, but at the same time, it would be a lot more inconvenient for me to have a debate with some guy making, shit money standing in front of an X-ray machine about how it was a special belt that doesn't set off. I mean, like that's just wasting my time. It's not worth it. Compliance. We talked about it a bunch after all. I was like, yeah, I think you should have though made the point. Like, but what was the win? There was no win. Let's say I say, no, I'm going to prove it to you. And then I walk through the metal detector, and if it doesn't go off, and then what's going to happen? Everybody's going to stand up and clap for me. The guy's like, sir, you know what you're doing. You're clearly a sophisticated traveler. Here you go and have yourself a nice ticket for a free upgrade to first class for outsmarting us today. We're thankful for your service. No, there was no victory that could be achieved. And I guess that's my message for a lot of comic creators online that find themselves getting into huge wars with people online. So let's say we talk about him all the time. Let's say you're Mark Brooks, and you enjoy having a fight, my question for you is, what? Why? What are you winning? You're not winning anything. There's no victory here. You're just having a fight. At no point are you going to make the perfect tweet that calls the incels just the right mark, just the right insult, that all the incels will stand up and say, we see our error of our ways, Captain Brooks. You are now truly not just a dread pirate, but a dread pirate king. And we will go out now and have sex with women that will have us, and think differently about our lives. We will cry in the rain and read romantic comedies, and try and be better people. We will forever vote Democrat. I don't know, whatever is going to happen. There is no win. So, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. It's all downside. All of it. It's okay to all of you, creators and fans alike. It's okay to just think in your head, this person is a fucking moron, and then not type that. It's okay. You don't have to type it. You can just think it. You can throw yourself a little parade in your head. You can go celebrate with a nice frappuccino, whatever gets you off. You don't need to actually prove the point, because you aren't proving a point. You aren't proving anything to anybody. That's the thing. Nobody cares. Compliance, the way I'm using it, I know compliance often means submission, and then that gets all like, you don't want to be a girl, do you? Don't submit. Like, just try and take that shit out of it for a moment, and just know, if you're producing comics for somebody, you're producing something. It's in your right, certainly in your right, to play stupid games, but what are you winning? Does the person who gets thrown off the airplane for wanting to lecture everybody about their First Amendment rights, does that person, do they feel better after that? Was standing up on that principle worth it? You're now having to spend double the time at the airport as you try and explain yourself to a bunch of federal marshals, and then hopefully get your ass on another plane. You've completely fucked up whatever your travel plans are going to be. Why do that? I don't get it. I've listened to some people say things like, well, yeah, but you got to be a man. That's not being a man. It's being dumb as hell. You're being a dumb man. That's what you're being. There is no place in the world where, barking at a flight attendant over, what they're telling you about a mask on a plane that they control, and they've got marshals with guns to take you on or off that plane whenever they feel like it. There's no victory. Nobody's going to give you a medal at the end going, I was a man who stood up for my man. There comes a point, certainly, where you have to stand up for yourself. And I think a lot of freedoms that get infringed upon us, for sure. Is your flight, is your Phoenix to Chicago flight where you draw that line? And maybe it's where you draw that line. I find it wasteful. Like going through the metal detector. Sure, I paid money to have something that complied by the rules. I had to take it off anyway. I certainly could have driven that point home. I would have been a few minutes late to my gate. Would have pissed somebody off. Nobody would have given me shit. Or worse. The guy decides to make my life a little more shitty because I made them look bad. And there's no victory in there for me. Beware of the people, and I'm talking again back to the comic creators here, because I've been in some DMs lately where what I'm saying has been suggested. People are like, you know what? It's actually a watershed moment. People are saying, maybe it's not worth fighting with the fans in public. Even if we disagree with them, we don't have to have these arguments. Maybe we just, shut the fuck up and do our own thing, and, not get into a battle constantly with fans. Maybe that's hurting comics. I'm like, oh, eureka, you figured it out. But, then comes in this response of, don't be a pussy. You can't tell them. You don't let them tell you what to do. Are you a man? It was hilarious. Aren't you a man? Stand up for yourself. Don't be a pussy. Smack these fans around. Like, goddamn. God, what's going on? I don't know. I find it amazing. Just amazing. Um, compliance, not submission. Don't submit. And certainly if you're being asked to do something illegal or wrong or morally unethical, or there's a million reasons why you shouldn't comply. But to prove you're a man online, that's a dumbass reason. Or maybe I'm just very confident in the size of my dick. I don't know. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for listening.